So these are the results for the quiz so far. If anybody answered after now, it's just for attendance, but you should have answered before. Okay. So the symbol for dollar, most of you know correctly, and this, it is true but wrong. It is true that it's used for column names, but it's not the question. The question is, what is the symbol? It's not what is the meaning of the symbol, it's what is the symbol, literally, how you write it. Because I wanted to know, the question was, show that you know your keyboard. Let me turn off the video for a second. Okay, second, backslash. Again, used to separate names, is not true. This is a wrong answer. This is also wrong because it's forward slash. Backslash is this one. Most of you did it correctly, but it's important. This is exactly what I wanted to see. So this symbol is called forward slash or just slash. Is over the number 7 typically. It's not what you want. You want this one, backslash. We don't use it a lot, but when we need it, you have to be sure that you don't confuse them. Let's say that forward slash is made for division. Backslash is for other purpose. Backtick, again, most people did it correctly. Maybe it's not so easy to see in the screen, but user for call, again, wrong answer, correct answer to the wrong question. It is true, but wrong. This is the other tick. This doesn't count. This is not backtick. This is normal tick. Here it is right, except that they wrote it twice. That sometimes happen. You have to be careful because depending on the keyword, depending on many things, sometimes you get it twice. And this, yeah, maybe if you use the keyboard in the wrong way. The Turkish keyboard and the American keyboard have this confusion, but the basic point is that you should be able to find the backtick. You should know your keyboard. Here, this is what I was afraid, that the symbol for underline, the key, the letter that we call underline is this one. It's like a dash, but below. This is again a correct answer to the wrong question, so it is true but wrong. And this is also true but wrong. This is how you write, how you underline text in HTML. But it's not the question. The question is, what is the symbol that we call underline? Like there is a symbol that we call dollar, a symbol that we call backtick, there is a symbol that we call underline. So most of people got right, but I'm afraid that this is the kind of confusion that people can have. Just be clear that the question is asking what is the tip one key is one key. Then I should have said like press one key. Okay. What is a command? This is more in R. The command to write a vector with 30 even numbers starting with 6. This answer is correct. It's perfect answer.
I have a question about this.
Go ahead.
If we want to create 30 even numbers, shouldn't we write from 6 to 64?
How you know that is 64? How you know that is 64 the limit?
I calculate.
You calculated, but that is exactly that is the point. That
okay.
You work for the computer, so you are working for the computer, and is not the computer working for you. So this is like Terminator. You are working for the machine. This is the Matrix. You are working for the machine. No, you don't calculate. You make the computer calculate for you. And the answer very directly: a vector with 30 numbers. So you say 30. Because if I had you 347, why you need to calculate? You have a computer to calculate for you, so you make the computer calculate. So this is giving the same answer, but it's not the correct answer. The correct answer is that you explicitly say what is the length. Let me put the other way. If I show you this, can you tell me in half second what is the length of this vector? No, you have to calculate. You have this 64 minus 6 divided by 2, something like that, plus 1 probably. But if you read this one, you immediately know that the output vector will be 30 elements. You need half second to realize it. So this, and the other even is this, the second option is not telling you what are the numbers. You see 6, 2, and 64. And yeah, if you look at the manual, if you look at the help page, you will see that this is from, this is by, and this is, but it's not obvious. It's not obvious. In fact, maybe this doesn't work. Normally this from 2. So it will be from 6 to 4 by 64. I'm not even sure that this will work. Instead, the first one is very explicit. It says from 6 by 2. It is very clear. It's translating directly from English to R. 30 even is by 2, starting from 6. From English to R. The other is some other formula. This answer is 99% correct because it's creating the vector, but it's also assigning. So if you do this as a command, you will not see the result. So it is almost correct, but not correct. This is, of course, bad because you have a sequence and you put inside a vector. This probably, there is no even command here. And will give you, in the best case, give you a number between 6 and 30. And essentially, remember that the colon, the equinocta, is giving you a vector already, a sequence. So you have a sequence of sequence. That's not very good. Again, here, almost. This almost. Instead of, here you must use the equal sign. Instead of colon, equinocta, you must use equal sign. And it's not from, it's not a start, it's from, it's not a stop, it's, sorry, this is wrong. This is wrong. It's not 230. It's length 30. This is wrong because, as you say, it is 264 or something like that. So from, this is better. This, at least the result will be correct, but again, the real answer is this one. From 6 by 2, length 30. All the rest is making your life harder. Here, there is a missing dot. There should not be a space between the part of the name. This is one word with a dot inside. A dot or an under dot. So this doesn't work. And there is a comma here in the wrong place. Again, doesn't work. This is almost, except that instead of by 1, it should be by 2 because it's even numbers. Here, for example, someone calculated different, say up to 66. So again, if you calculate by hand, that is the point. If you calculate by hand, you always have the risk that you make the calculation wrong. If you tell the computer do it, the computer will probably not make the same mistake. The worst of all is this one. This is someone who wants to be a slave, someone who wants to work for the computer. Instead of making the computer work for you, you are doing the computer work. That is essentially a failure of the educational system. Instead of doing things in the good way, you are making your life harder uselessly. Okay, make vector of what happened here? People are still answering. Vector of length, no, 20 copies of number 9. These are good answer. These two are essentially the same. The difference here, there is a space after the comma. It is always nice, but it's optional. I recommend putting always a space after a comma because it looks better. Here they don't have, and in fact, this one is also, they put a space. All these three are the same, okay? Probably this is also the same, except they are assigning to a vector. We didn't ask to assign, we asked you to create the vector and show it. Okay, so this is 99% correct. The assignment is not part of the question. This doesn't work. This doesn't make anything. You are taking X and putting into a couple of numbers that will give error always. This one is giving you a vector with 2 elements, 9 and 20, not the number 9 20 times. This again is someone who wants to be a slave of a robot. Answer rep 9. Rep 9, okay, half correct, but not telling how many times. This is interesting. This is also 99% correct. This is a correct answer, except that they're including the prompt here. This angle bracket, that should not be written. That is not part of the command. That is a symbol that the computer shows to you, telling you that it's ready to get your command. But you should not write it. It's not part of your answer. And it's a typical error that people make in the exam. So don't confuse. If you only answer this part, it is perfect. Like this and this and this. So these are minor errors. These are major errors. Here you are not repeating. Here you are not saying how many times you repeat. Here you are working for the computer. This is interesting because we're going to use this a lot. The best answer is this one. It's probably the same. I don't know. I don't see what is different between this and this, but essentially 3 backticks and then curly brace R. What is the... Okay, I couldn't change the way... I don't know what they say here. But it's a kind of the idea. You put 3 backticks and then R. Then, so this is not. This is almost correct because we use 3 ticks in general for marking code. But if you want the code to be R code, you have to mark it with this curly brace. We will see in a minute the difference. We are going to do this today. What else? These 3 ticks are not the correct backtick. And here again, 2 backticks. You have to be careful to put the correct backtick. In many cases, you can copy and paste. Okay. In general, I'm going to give you a starting point, and you will not even need to write it. Okay. But it's important that you are able to write it. What else? End of the code. These 3 ticks, correct. These are not the correct answer. It should be 3 backticks. Any other question?
What are the differences between 3 backticks and are they literally the same?
No, the symbols are different and the computer interprets them different. Remember,
Which
this
symbol?
look is what they do. It's not about the look, it's about the role. And the language is defined in terms of the 3 backticks. It is not how they look, it's how they are, what is the meaning. Now, the other question is, what is the difference between 3 backticks without curly braces and R and with curly braces? That's a little more subtle, and I want to show it a little later. I think we talk about that, but let's talk about that later. We will try that question. Ask me that question again later, okay? When we get to this part in the class. Okay? Any other question?
I think you get me wrong because I was asking the question below like 3 backticks and curly brackets and R.
Yeah.
They are...
I will give you the exact answer in the class later. So
Okay.
it's a very good question, and it take a little more. I mean, I can give you an answer now, but we will see it in more detail later in the class today. Okay.
Okay.
And it will be more clear with an example. So good. Attendance. Did you check the attendance? We have an attendance list, no? So in the web page of our course, there is a link to the Google Sheet. And you should see, I try to keep it updated, but I can make mistakes. I'm still human. So if you see any kind of missing point that you came to a class and you fill the survey, you fill the quiz, you did the homework, and you are missing here, tell me. But right now, I don't know if I have everything because some people fill the survey at the last minute. By the way, I'm going to stop the survey now. So if anybody didn't, you can tell your friends. I'm going to stop the survey because I need that data for the next class. So today after this class, this is closed. And people who didn't answer, the point is people don't do the homework. I cannot guarantee that they will take the exam. Homeworks are not optional. Attendance may be optional, but homeworks are not optional. So check here if you are in the classes that you know that you were, or if there is something wrong here. Okay, 1 means that you came, 0 means you didn't came. If you have a medical problem, like every week, you know, I will tell you, every week there is someone saying, I got COVID. It's very good that we are doing this online because every week we have another student with COVID. If you have a medical problem, you tell me. I will count that as an excuse, but this document reflects reality. If you came to the class, you have a 1. If you don't came to the class, you have 0. Even if you see the class later, it's fine. You can watch the class later, but this attendance show that you came to the class. And in this case, it showed that you did the homework and you delivered it on time.
Sorry, can I tell something?
Yes, of course.
I emailed you a few weeks ago, but I couldn't get a response twice. Maybe you don't get my emails. Can
maybe. Let's check later, because
okay.
But the valid point. When we have a break, we check that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I try to answer all the emails, but yeah, sometimes I may miss some. Yeah, you did right. Yeah, and you see, you can connect here, so you can check. And it's the same that we have the document that we use it for the homework 1. Okay. Let's close this one, and you see the classes are here, and well, later. Let's close this one also. Tell me if something wrong with the attendance. Okay, I am going to do a little practice about vectors, but using real data. And I am going to use a slide that you saw already in class 8. And if you were a hard worker, you probably tried this before. We are going to download this. If you click this, you will get this page. I did this this morning, and I will open, and you will get something like this. Okay. Maybe it will not open, it will download something directly. That there is a little variability, the little change depending of your web browser. If you use Safari or Explorer or whatever, they do different things. But essentially, you will get somewhere this file. Okay, I want you to do this now. That you open this page. I may send you the link because people are not able to write, I see. So I am copying and pasting that. So, by the way, you realize this is an international organization. This extension here means international. WHO is World Health Organization. It's not Dr. Who, it's the World Health Organization. And COVID-19, I don't need to explain. And this is official data for all the world about COVID, and it's probably updated up to yesterday, or I don't know, the most updated. This is the most official data about COVID around the world. Not necessarily the most complete, but it's the most official. Okay, this is here and now. Okay. So you will see a page like this one. What kind of text is this? What kind of file is this? You will notice that this web page doesn't have any color, doesn't have any big letters. All letters are the same size, same kind of letter, and they have even all the same size, horizontal size. The I and the N have the same size. The big A and the small I, they have the same width. The 0 and the 1 have the same width. That is a clear sign that this is a text file. The rest of the World Health Organization is a text file. Moreover, this text file is separated by comma. You have a comma here, here, here. Okay. Every line is a case, and every variable, every value is separated by comma. Okay? This is what is known as a comma separated value. In other words, the extension is CSV. CSV means comma separated value. Okay? And this is very common. This is not the only way that we use data in text file, but it's very common. You see, it's the way that the World Health Organization send it, and it's something that everybody can read. You can read this in Excel. You can read this anywhere. It's super standard, super basic. Okay. Now you have somewhere a button to save it. For example, here, if I press the secondary button, I have an option that says Save Page As. Or in the menu, depending on your browser, you will find somewhere that says Save As. And when you click the Save As, you will get a menu. And this is super important because there are 2 points here. First, it is super important that you be aware of where you save this file. Okay, don't miss track of where are you saving it. In my case, I try most of the time to download things in a folder called downloads. In Windows, you also have that. It's kind of a good idea that the thing that you download, you put in a download folder, and then you move to different places. I mean, I am a bad example because I don't move that in general. The idea that you download to the download folder, and then you move to the corresponding folder. You have a folder for every project, a folder for every class, or something like that. Second point is check the format. Here you may have more than one option. Page source is essentially only this. Web archive is something more complicated, or a web page. So page source, the most simple thing. If you say, I already did the saving, you can see it here. If you save it, you will get this file in your computer. Now, there is a couple of points here. Let me show you. Okay, comma separated value, you saw this thing. And you use the save option, try to save and download. There is this point. In Word, for reasons that go beyond my understanding, the extension, the file extension is sometimes changed in your back, or they are hidden. So it is a very, very bad thing. Windows people are crazy. They did the wrong thing. So there is a couple of videos that I'm linking you here that I will suggest you. They are 1 minute. So take a look. I will copy you this link now. Take a look of how can you show the extension. Since I'm not using Windows, I cannot show you here. But in Windows, you need to do something special to show the file extension, okay? To see the kind of the type of file. Okay. In my case, let me see if I can make. Okay. You see that we have, well, you see the column names, the date, the country code, 2 letters for the code, long name for the country, region as classified for Europe, and number of cases, total cases, new deaths, total deaths. Okay. We want to take this into R. Question. Can you see this file in your computer?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Who else?
Yes.
Okay. 3 people.
I can see it, but I can see it like Excel file.
Okay. Yeah, that is a very common thing. It's not a bad thing. The point is this: in Windows, when you double click a file, something will open. In fact, in every system, the something open. For example, if I have a PDF file and I double click the PDF file, I will get the preview or something like this. No, but if you click a CSV file, in window, typically that open Excel. Okay. Fine. That depends on how you configure your system. And it's not a bad option. It's not a bad option. If you have a text editor, like Visual Studio Code or Atom, you can also open it with the text editor, but like I did here. But it's not a bad solution. In fact, one option is to open with R. We can try to do it. Let's say I have R here. I can go and try to open the file open. Not the best idea, but let's just to show the idea. Maybe it's too big. So this is in downloads. It will probably complain that the file is too big, but I will go ahead anyway. Remember that here in RStudio, we have a small text editor that we can use to see some files. But this is not what we want to do. We want to get into our environment. So I'm closing this one and I'm following the slides that we had before. Okay, so just make sure that you get the correct extension. In fact, the fact that you open and it was open with Excel is a good sign. It shows that you got the good extension. So we are going to use this option to load the data. You are going to get to the environment, import dataset, and base download, and you will get text like this. And you have to make sure that you change the name to COVID. Okay? So I'm going to do it now, and please do it at the same time. Okay? So let's go. I go to environment. Okay, let me clean this environment. I'm going to import from text base. Right now we are using the base system. In the next class, we are going to speak about the other options. And first I go to the correct folder. And this is important that you remember what is the folder where you put the things. It is very common that people get confused in this part. They download a file and they forget where they put the file. Okay, so be careful with it. You select the file that we just saved, and if everything goes right, you have this preview. The name is kind of big. I prefer a shorter name, so I call it COVID. Okay, this will be the name inside the R session. There is a file outside, and there is this data inside. So you see the input file, and this will be the result. And things are correct. For example, the first row is marked here with bold letter, meaning that they will be the names of the columns. And we will not change anything. Let's only change the name. The rest we keep it like that. Okay? Any question? And if you are right, you click import.
Can you show again?
What part?
I changed the name.
Here. In this corner, the name, and I essentially with the mouse here, I marked everything. I wrote COVID. I wrote the name that I want. It can be Mickey Mouse if you like. COVID makes more sense. Fine. Do you see this menu? Do you see this window? What do you see? FASA says no. What do you see instead?
I see the same thing as yours.
Okay.
My screen is just gone right now.
Like what? Do you want to share your screen?
Okay. Okay, it's fine now.
It's fine. Okay. Okay. If you want to share your screen, we will learn from everybody. Just remember something. It's super important. We are here to make mistakes. The way to learn is to try and if you get any problem, solve that problem. Okay, we are not supposed to do things right at the first time. If you are afraid of making mistake, you will never learn. I mean, if you do you know how to ride the bicycle? Move your head. How you learn to ride the bicycle? You fall, and it's painful, but you get up. No, nobody learns to ride a bicycle without failing. So failing is part of learning. And if you are afraid of failing, you will never learn. Okay? Now, next step. Import. Okay, did you click import? What did you get? Do you see something like this one?
Yes, I see the same.
Me too.
Good. Who
Me
else?
too.
By the way, why I'm not seeing the rest of the people? Why? Why so few people got camera today?
Sorry, but I can access the window that reads an import.
You got to click here in environment,
Okay,
import dataset
then,
from text base.
okay.
This will ask which file. You have to go to the folder, corresponding folder, download. Then you have to choose the file, click open, and then you get the menu, this window. Fine.
Yes.
Okay. That is what we like. You know, this is the advantage of the condition that we have now, is that everybody can see my screen and you can share your screen and we can work, make sure that people are doing the same thing. Okay, so let me show the slides again here. So if you change the name, and you will see a command that looks essentially like this. So the summary is that next time you don't need to click all the mouse. You can essentially store this command here. This is the command that we use to download, to read the data. Read, comma separated values, and you put the name of the file here. Your name will be different, no, because you store in a different folder. This is my folder. You may have a different folder, but you put the name here. And then there is another command called view that essentially opens this window. And if everything goes right, you will see this window with this, all the columns here. Okay? Do you see? And most importantly, I want you to focus in this part. Okay, in the upper right window. Here we have a line that says COVID. You say that it's a data frame, and you have 73,000 observations and 8 variables. Do you see the same?
No, I think
Yes.
I couldn't make the first part. So can I share my screen?
Yes, you can share your screen.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. On the contrary, we are happy to see how people can improve, because if we only have good things, we never learn. Maybe I should stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, I'm trying that. Is it okay?
Okay, let's see. Okay, I see now. So yeah, you are only looking at the window here, but you are not, if you see the environment is empty. So here your mouse should go a little up where it says import dataset. You have it in the upper left side.
Here.
Upper right side, there is something that says import dataset. No, not so. No, in the there is a window that says environment.
Here.
Exactly there. Import dataset. Click there. And then from text base there. And then you have to go to your the folder where you download the file. Take the second one. Take the one that is clean. Because you download twice and you got the same. But let's open this one. Click open. And let's wait 1 minute. Okay, this is the one that you want to change. And here you want to change the name. You can keep the name, but it's a long name and you have to write it many times. So maybe it's better that you make it shorter. Correct COVID. And there is a little detail. In the encoding option. Just low. Can you click there and see? There is something funny, and I think it's because you need to move, and there is an encoding called UTF-8. Can you go a little down in this menu? Yeah. Very down, kind of using the scroll.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah. Because there is unfortunately incompatibility between Windows and the rest of the world, and you have to choose it. Even probably one of the last ones with U. Not so much. It's UTF. Maybe you can write. Okay. Here. Yeah, here. UTF-8.
This one or this one?
They're probably the same.
Okay.
Did it change? Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to see if it will change the name of date reporter. Okay, let's see. Okay, to go import. I'm not sure what will happen. Let's see what happened. Yeah, one of the reasons why people don't use Windows is because of this kind of what happened now? You got the variable here and it's opening in the column. Yeah, we got something funny with the date, but we will solve that later. Okay, one last point. You can close the other files here, the WHO COVID. In the size of the view, in the upper left part, there is a tab that says WHO COVID. You can close that one, and there is another untitled in red letters. You can close them also, and yeah, you can stop sharing your screen. And I appreciate very much that you share your screen because it helps us to everybody understand what are the kind of problem. In fact, I appreciate very much because I see that in Windows, there are things that happen that don't happen in my computer. So if I don't see your screen, I never learned this. So very good.
So I'm trying to.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that we want to do here. We want to see case by case. So the problem with the encoding is at the end resulting in some kind of funny letters at the beginning here. I will have to check that. It's a silly thing. It's not too critical, but just to be aware that sometimes there is an encoding parameter. In most cases, it's automatic, but sometimes it's not. Okay, let's focus on the real important things for us. Are you looking at my screen, no? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. At least you either use microphone or camera, but you have to, if you move your head, you use the camera. Okay. So you saw this variable. By the way, when I made this class, there were 41,000. Now we have 78,000 cases. So things change. What we are looking is a new kind of data type, data structure that we call data frame. We are going to talk more in detail next class, but right now you need to know that this is a bidimensional structure that has rows and columns, and each column is a vector. And we are working with vectors today. They can be different column can have different type, but they all have the same length, and every column has a name. So for us, what it means is here. One column is date, the other is date reported, country code, country, World Health Organization region, new cases. And if you see, for example, all the country codes have the same shape, no? They are 2 letters. And so here in the first column, you have dates. In the second column, and the third and the fourth, you have text. In the number 5, well, the last 4 columns, you have numbers. Okay, you don't mix number with text. You have text, or you have number, or you have date. Okay. Okay. So let's look at the vectors. Data frame will be discussed later. Let's focus on vector. The easy way, and some of you know this, the easy way to take a vector from a data frame is to use not money, is to use the dollar sign. It's not that you have to pay for this. It's just using the dollar sign. So COVID is the complete set of vectors. And to take one of vectors, you put dollar and the name of this. We are going to take this one. You can try in your computer, you write COVID, dollar, new cases. Be careful with the letters, okay? There is a way that you can make it easier. I will show you. This is not so hard. You write COVID and dollar. And if everything is right, the system will offer you the options. Okay? So with your arrow or with your mouse, you can choose new cases. And okay, these are 72,000. There are too many. So normally, if you don't say anything, it will show you only the first 1,000 cases, the first 1,000 values. You can ask for more, but normally they will not show you more than 1,000 because unless you fill your screen and it's kind of useless. You don't see anything, no? The point is, this is a vector. How do we know that this is a vector? This was part of the class that I sent you to watch before. How you recognize that this is a vector?
From the brackets.
Exactly. Exactly.
Every row.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect answer. You see that every line has a bracket. And so it means that the first value here is in position number 1. So these brackets are the indices, no? They will tell you the position. So for example, the position number 100 is somewhere here. This is 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 101, 2, 3, 4, 105. The day 100 is 0. Good. Yes. Good answer. When you print a vector, typically in the first part of the line, there will be a number showing you the index of every part of the vector. Okay. Second, the type of data here is number. Essentially because you see that there are things that look a number and there is no quotation mark. Okay. What else? When you have these big tables, there is a good reason for counting. You want to know how many of each one. So let me show you this command. In fact, we are going to talk today mostly about function that you can take a vector and get something else. Okay. We discussed it a little in the previous classes, but the essential idea is that you take a vector and you do something with the vector. And this was not in the slide that I sent you before, but there is a command called table that allow you to count. Table should be called count, but it's called table. Okay. So how we do this? We say table, and inside we write parentheses, always round parentheses, and then we say the name of the vector. The vector is COVID country. Okay. So what do you see here? Can you tell me what is happening here?
It's a table. It's a table which contain one column.
Well, in this case, it's not obvious it is a table because we see one column here essentially because the names are very wide, the very wide. No, the names are long, especially well, some countries are short. But if you saw here about the official name that the World Health Organization like occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, that's a very long name. All these international organizations are very careful with the names because they have to be friends with everybody. So they cannot say Palestine, they cannot say Israel, they have to say something. So for example, Venezuela, the official name of Venezuela. So they are careful with these things. Now, maybe it will be easier if instead of counting this wide name, if you remember here, we have country and country code. Country code is a simple version. You have two letters to show the country. It's kind of a summary. AF for Afghanistan. So we can count country code. Okay? And then we will see better what is happening here. What is this?
Country code and their total cases.
Exactly, country code and the total cases. What else you see? This is funny because I always ask this question and nobody says, even if you are looking and you are not looking. What do you see? Tell me everything that you see here.
They are the same.
They are the same. And what is that same?
Cases, total cases.
No. These are not cases. Because we didn't say...
They are not indices?
No.
Maybe.
No. Remember, we're counting.
Number of total countries?
Neither. Close, but not exactly.
Number of the days that we have the data.
Exactly, number of days. Okay, I will tell you what you see and you didn't say. There are 311. Nobody say 311, even if you have a 311, it's screaming to you, 311. You see 311? Why you don't say that you see 311? You are seeing it.
Yes.
It is in your face, 311. So what is 311? Can be the number of countries? No, because there are less than 200 countries in the world. So it cannot be the number of countries. Can be the number of cases? No, because there are much more than 311 cases. So it doesn't make sense. But what it can be is the number of days since the beginning of the pandemic. And if you see here in the table, the first date, the first column, let's see here, is January 1st. No, January 3 here, no? January 3. And then you count Afghanistan, how much data. You have essentially one line for every day since January 3, which is when we officially declared pandemic. So, and it finished probably around today. Let's see what is the last day for Afghanistan. And what you realize at the end is that for every country, we have the name numbers of rows. So if there are 311 rows for Afghanistan, there are 311 rows for Germany, 311 rows for Chile, 311 rows for Turkey, and 311 rows for Zimbabwe. Everybody got the same treatment. What's the last day for Afghanistan? Okay, this is something that we should ask the computer, but here. The last day is November 8th, and what's the day 311? Yeah, so 311 is the number of days for every country, and every country got the same number of rows, the number of observations, okay? So this is the number of yesterday. Yeah, tell me.
But you didn't ask for rows in the...
Good question, good question. No, what I asked was how many times you see every country code in the column country code, in this column. So if you let's see country code first. Let's see what I did. Let's see the vector. This is a vector that you see is text. How do you know it's text?
Quotes.
Quotations. Yeah, quotation. You see it's a vector because you have brackets, and you see that it's text because they are quotations. Quote is the correct name. Okay. So the question that we asked here with table is how many times you see the text a, de, a, e, a, fe. How many times you see each one. So no matter the order, here they are all together, but they may be mixed. How many times you see af, how many times you see al, how many times you see desde, how many times you see as. Okay, you're counting how many times you see every letter. In this case, it corresponds to the number of times you see every country in every row. Okay? Rana has a question mark in the face, and that is good. Yeah, I say it wrong. I'm not counting the number of rows. I am counting the number of time that we see every country code. If you remember, when we asked for country, we get the same number. How many times you see every country? 311, the same number.
So when you write a country code in brackets, it becomes numeric vector?
No.
Or something?
No. Good question. Very good question. No. When we use table is a function that takes a vector and give you a numeric vector, which is the counting how many times you see everyone. Very good question. Very good question. So the input is a vector, in this case, a text vector. That will be typically the case. We can put anything, but typically will be a text vector. The output of table is a numeric vector with names. So for example, you can say this. You can say, we can create a new variable. Let's call it num observation. And we will put this command table. So now, instead of printing, I'm storing in a new variable, table COVID country code. Okay. You see here, we got num observation is a table with integers, 234 integers. Okay. So we can show the content. We will see the same as before. We stored it in the memory, but it's like the memory of the calculator, no? Number of observation. Here I can click here. Same thing. But now we can ask a nicer question. We can use an index here and ask, for example, for Tere, which is Turkey. Okay. Remember, we can also say number of observation of the country number 10. We can use numbers as vectors and text as vector. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Argentina. So you can use numbers as indices and text as indices. Okay? Okay, people are moving ahead. That is good. By the way, if you don't show your camera, I don't count you here. I only count the people that show their face. Yeah. My friend Recep was hiding. Don't hide. Exercise. We want to make a vector for Turkey. This is the main exercise today. I hear your ideas. We want to make a new vector with the case of Turkey. Will be cases of Turkey. Let me put this way. There is one vector that we already saw called, I can using the arrow, I'm going up in the history and looking at the thing that I did before. This one, COVID new cases. COVID new cases is a numeric vector, you saw it before, very big, 73,000 entries, which corresponds to this column. Okay? This frame here has 8 columns, 8 observations, and 73,085 observations. That is the number of rows. Observations are rows, variables are columns. So we have 73,000 that correspond to 811 for each country. But we don't want to see all countries. We want to see only one country. Okay? How you get that one country? If you know this answer, you have 90% of this course approved. This is the hardest question in all the course.
I know the answer, I guess, but from your slides.
Okay, fine.
I think we use the subset function.
Okay, that is one way, but I want to do it with vectors. That is subset for data frame. I want to do it. It's similar, but subset is filtering a data frame. I want to filter the vector.
Oh, okay.
I'm giving you 2 vectors. The number of cases, the one that you are looking at here, number of cases, and the other vector is called country code, or country, if you like. So vector number 1, COVID new cases. Vector number 2, COVID country code. Vector number 3, COVID country. Country and country code are essentially the same thing, just with different style, with different way of writing. The long name and the short name, if you like. So the country code is just to make it easier to write. Okay, but they are the same thing. How we combine these 3 things to get the number of cases for Turkey? Any idea? Okay, I will give you a hint. In the classes that you saw before this class, in the previous classes, you saw that we have three kind of vectors that we can use as indices. We can use names, we can use numbers, positive and negative, and we can use logic. How we use logic here? Everybody, hello, hello. Hello.
Hello.
How is it? What is the answer? Did you get any proposal? Any idea? Who worked well, who worked less? We have more people now than before.
I have an idea, but it didn't work.
Okay, but show it, because it can be ideas that don't work can be a step to an idea that works.
I tried this. I sent it to the chat.
Here. That is very good. Just one little detail. Everybody saw it in the chat? Yes. The code is here. Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen, no? Okay, let me clear here. And so you are essentially taking the country, compare it to Turkey, and use that as an index for. Okay. First problem is that if you want to compare, you need to put equal 2 times. That is typical. That is a typical error. So that is why I like to see it, because it happens. It happens every time. This is an unfortunately effect of the way that things are. But people, I mean, after a lot of work, people realized that it was better to have a different symbol for asking the question, are they equal, than for giving the command, let this be equal to this one. With one equal, you are assigning, you are forcing something into,
Yeah, I remember from your slides.
Yeah.
But isn't that a question, like, are they equal? But we're not asking question. We want data.
I don't want to risk making an error here, but let's see, and we will see if it does work and if work or not. So, COVID country, Turkey. If I only ask this question, we have a vector here with a different country, and we are comparing that vector with the fixed value Turkey with quotation mark, and you will get many false and sometimes true. It will be true for the case when it's Turkey. We can even count here. How many times it is false, how many times is true? 311 times true. That is the number that we expected. We know that there is 311 cases for Turkey. Then, following your idea, you say COVID, and you put this, no, sorry. Let's clean it here, cleaning everything, right? This was your code. The main point is that you have to put it equal, 2 times the equal sign. Then the second point is that you want to use this to index a vector. And COVID is not a vector. You want to use this for COVID new cases. Here is how you combine the two things. You have COVID country, that is a text. You compare the text with a fixed value that gives you a logic, and they use that logic vector as an index for the numeric vector, and you get the number of cases for Turkey. Fine. If you, okay, I'm going to save this, and then I'm going to do it wrongly. I want to see what happens if you do it wrong, because it's interesting to see what happens if you do it wrong. So,
sir, can we go over one time?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to do it again. This time I'm going to store it in a new variable, because you remember part of the question here was that new cases for Turkey, make a new vector called cases Turkey. And by the way, after this we make a break, okay?
Okay.
So let's finish this and we go for lunch break. تمام? So I will make it again. First, remember the first variable is COVID country, which is a very big vector with a lot of names. So you can compare any vector, you can make a comparison. Comparison requires 2 times the equal sign, equal. In this case, Turkey, or whatever country that you want to test. And you get a lot of false, but sometimes you get true. Then you use this logic vector here as an index for another vector. The other vector is COVID new cases. And let me clear the screen so you can see only the important part. I'm putting some spaces so you see more clearly. This is the basic thing that we do here. This is kind of the key idea of this class. You say COVID country is a text vector. You compare the text vector with a fixed value that will give you a logic vector, and then you use the logic vector to index another vector or something else. Okay? And then finally, we assign this to a new variable that we say, what was the name? We say cases Turkey. So cases Turkey will be the result of this question. It's a new vector here. Okay? Fine? How many elements in this variable? We created a new vector. Length, cases Turkey, 311. You can also see here in this environment window, you can see also the number of elements. This is a good way to see. If everything is right, you should see the variable here, and you should see the length here. And you can ask the length. And what was the other question? The other question of this exercise was, what is the total number of cases? What is the total of cases in Turkey? You have 1 case in this, then 4. The total is the sum of everything. How you make the sum of all the values here? Anybody? How you make a sum of a vector? One by one, please.
With the sum function.
Sum of a vector is sum of vector. Let me just tell you something. This data is up to date. Okay, it's official, it's up to date, published last night. This is what is happening in Turkey officially. This number, 391,000 cases, is not in any part. It's not a number in the data. It's a data that we calculated. It's a number that we calculated. We can calculate our own thing. And I'm going to show you one more thing, just to give you the taste. There is another function that we are going to just check it very easy, called plot. Let's give you this thing. Let me zoom it. This is the curve for Turkey. And you can make the same for different countries. No? This is a visual presentation of the vector. This is a way to see vectors. Okay? Any question?
I have a question.
Ask.
How can we delete the data and environment, data?
Good question. If you have something, there are a couple of ways, but the easy way is this. Here you have an option of showing a list or showing a grid. When you show a grid, there is a button here that you can click and press delete.
Okay, thank you.
There is another way that we can talk later, but this is the easy one. You click the thing that you want to, and if you don't click, you will delete everything, and they will say, okay, you are. If you have the list view, you can only delete everything.
Okay, thank
In
you.
general, it's not a big deal. Fine. Let's go to the slides. This is a thing that you probably know, but just to say it formally, don't think that you can only use the command that I show you. The number of commands is very, very big. There are thousands of commands, and they are created every day. So no way that we can teach you all of them. On the other side, we essentially follow the famous text that you know, that instead of giving you some command, you have to know how to find your own commands. We cannot, because at the end, I don't want to teach you R. I want to teach you to use the next system that is not yet invented. Okay? We change language. Computer language evolve more than human language. We get new and new language, depending on the problem, depending on things. And every time, 5 or 10 years, there will be a new computer language. So the system that we want you to use is the one that is not yet invented. So the general idea that we show you should be valid now and always. Oh. You need a scotch tape, Summit. Okay, so how you find help on your own, asking for help. Well, the first way is Google. Yes or no, Atakan knows that you need to Google first. Google is your friend. And in fact, the trick of Google is how to ask the correct question. You know, Google will give you an answer, but you have to ask the correct question. And so you should always try to find how do I, or an example of something. You will find when you use Google that you get more or less to a few websites that are always the same. These websites are kind of the, how can I say? There are some websites that people use for answers, for discussing this kind of conversation. And what is the name? There is something called Stack Overflow or what is the name? Well, I don't remember, but there's many people working with R, and you will find many discussions. And they are certainly doing it in every country, in every language. So if you ask the question in Turkish, you will get answer in Turkish. If you want in any language, you just ask, and probably you will find an answer. Then you can also use the cheat sheets that we discussed previously. In fact, I printed mine here. I printed in the UCH, so I can look at them. The only problem is that they, after I printed them, there is a new version, so sometimes they get obsolete. But it is good to have something like at hand, and is perfectly valid to use for the class and for the exam. And finally, R help. This is what I wanted to show you now. For example, let's go to our R session. In fact, there are two questions. Like if I ask you how to draw a plot, one question is what is the command, and the second is how I use the command. What is the command? You need to Google. Okay, there is no shortcut for that. How you use the command, then you can go here and help and write the command that you want to, for example, plot or sum. There are many options, so let's choose sum. And here you have the typical help page. So basically, the thing that you are going to see is that there is the command name, there is a kind of title, there is a one-line description that tells you what is this command, and the typical way that you use. In this case, is very ambiguous because you have a variable number of options. And then there is a detail. Maybe I can show you another command, let's say length. So another possibility is that you put your mouse inside the text, that the function that you want to see, inside length, and then you press F1. So in other words, while you are writing a command, you can press F1 and you get the help of the object that you are looking for, that you are ready. So length can be used in two ways. One is to ask the length of a vector, and second is to fix the length. You can change, essentially stretching or cutting the vector. The second is not necessarily a good idea, but you can see what are the options. And the other point that is useful, there is always some kind of example. And in many other cases, there are also links to other options. For example, these NAs. You remember we spoke about this NA. You remember this? The non-available?
Missing value. Huh.
Missing value, exactly. Exactly, missing value. Say missing value, exactly, yeah. Just remember, because we are going to use it next class. But going back to the bottom line of this thing, what we wanted to say is that you need to remember that you have help. In other words, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to remember anything here. I mean, okay, maybe you need to remember the name of the command, but you don't need to remember the details of the command. Just remember the keywords, sum, plot, length, something like that. And then when you want to know more, what we did. When you want to know more, you ask for help. I press the wrong button here. And the second important part is that learn how to read this text. Learn that there is the usage is telling you how to use it. If you have several arguments, for example, let's find the function sec for creating a sequence that we were discussing in the first quiz. In the general way, is this: you have an option that is from, an option that is to, an option that is by. That even you have the formula how they calculate. Out by default is empty, and another option that we didn't discuss along with. And every one of these parts is explained here. What is from, what is to, what is by, what is length. And then in the detail, it says what happened if you don't say, if you don't say by, if you don't say, essentially what are the different options, how people use it. So it is important that you learn how to read these explanations, and you can take the examples, okay? So the part that you have to remember is the name of the function. The part that you don't need to remember is the details of the function. You have the help, and you have them always there. Okay? Questions? Any questions? No? Okay, so let's go back to the exercise. We already did the first question, how to draw a plot. The exercise here was if you didn't remember how to do a plot, you have to Google how to plot in R. Okay, there are essentially two ways, modern in the current version of R, there are two ways of making plots. I am showing you the simple one, but not the best one. Later, probably after the midterms, we're going to see the modern. Okay. Next question. What is the smallest number of cases? How we find the smallest number of cases for Turkey? We are only working with cases Turkey. How we find the smallest number of cases? I can give you a hint. If you don't know the answer, you can start asking questions like, what do you mean by number of cases? What do you mean by smallest? What do you mean by... So number of cases here is the content of this vector called cases Turkey. This one that we see here, cases Turkey. Let's see. Cases Turkey is a vector that we created at the end of the first class. Here. Okay. So what was the question? What is the smallest number of cases?
When we write the cases Turkey like a vector and putting a C and then in parentheses it was make them in an order. How do I say? In your slides, you just mentioned that.
In the order, I don't think that we changed the order. If you see this, they came from the initial data. We have them sorted by time, and what we did essentially from this big table with 73,000 lines for 73,000 rows, we took only one column and only 300 rows. We took a very small part of this big table. So
I'm saying just cases Turkey.
Yeah.
And you.
This was the command. This was the command for cases Turkey. Okay?
Yes. If we put it in, how do I say it? Parentheses with.
Yeah. Square parentheses.
Square parentheses and write C and then normal parentheses and then write the case Turkey.
Can you write in the chat or in your screen and you show? Any other idea in the meantime? Just make sure that you understand the question. What is the smallest number of cases? In this case, you can answer just by looking at the screen, you can answer it.
It's 0.
0. Yeah. 0. So we should write a command and it will give us the answer of the command should be 0. So notice that I am asking a tricky question. My question is not really what is the smallest value. My question is what is the command that will give you the smallest value? Okay. What do you think is the smallest value? It was in the slides.
I sent something to the chat. I want to write this, but I know it's wrong. It only gives us the zeros.
It can be. Yeah, Buse. I cannot hear Buse. Yeah, I see. Perfect. That is the answer. Min function. Yeah. I see that you are not muted, but I cannot hear you. There is something with your microphone, something like. something happened. There is an option to in the Zoom to check your volume, check audio, but I see. So smallest means minimum. That is a kind of nice word to say smallest. So you want to say what is the smallest, what is the minimum value of cases Turkey? Okay, 0. That was the answer that we expected. And yeah. Okay. Question. If minimum is the smallest value, what is the largest, the biggest?
Maximum.
Maximum.
Max.
How you get the maximum? Max.
Max brackets.
Yeah. So the day with more cases was 5,138 cases in one day. Okay. Okay. Okay, I have the last two questions are tricky. What is the smallest positive number of cases? Positive means different from 0. Rana's answer is kind of the good approach. You have to take only the ones that are bigger than 0. So this question, let me show you again. This question is, what is the smallest positive number of cases? Has two parts. Smallest, you already know, is minimum. But positive number, you have to put a condition that you only look at the number that are bigger than 0. Okay? Okay, let's try this one.
I'm not sure, but I wrote in chat.
Yeah, I see. I am seeing your answer in chat. I am seeing. Okay. Let's start with this. Okay. Okay. I think you are lucky, but in general, this doesn't work. Let's go one by one. Before taking mean, what is this? You are comparing a vector of number with a vector of text.
Logic.
It will be a logic. So all they are true, but they are not all. So the first problem is that you want to compare number with number, not number with text. So you don't put quotation marks. Okay? If you put quotation mark, it's text. Tamam? Second point, you want to be strictly bigger than 0, not bigger or equal. Okay? Then you see that some are 0 and some are bigger than 0. Okay? So your reasoning is correct. You are doing, your way of thinking is correct. You have errors that are just practice. Let me show here. We have history. We can see the thing that we did. So the first is wrong because you have quotation marks. The second is wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. It's just that it's not the question that you want to ask. The question that you want to ask is strictly bigger than 0, not bigger or equal than 0. Okay? Then with this logic vector, what we do? We use the logic vector as an index for cases in Turkey, bracket here. So these are the numbers that are bigger than 0. Let's go back. Okay, let's show. If I don't put the bracket, if I get all the cases Turkey, you have some that are 0 and some that are bigger than 0. Okay? Say yes, say no, say something.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Good. So, with this question here, cases Turkey bigger than 0, greater than 0, every time you make a comparison, equal, different, or more than, greater than, you will get a true or false value, a logical value. If it's equal to 0, you will get false. If it's bigger than 0, you will get true. Okay? Yeah, that answered the Rana, except that it should not be greater or equal. It should be strictly greater. There is no equal sign here.
Because 0 is not positive, right?
Exactly. Positive. Yeah, technically we say positive is greater than 0. The other is non-negative. If you want to include 0, you say non-negative. You have positive numbers, negative number, and 0. 0 is not positive, 0 is not negative. Okay, it's a valid question, but it's a valid question. It's not obvious. Now that I think, I am so used to this that I didn't think about that, but in truth, it's not obvious. Positive is greater than 0. So combining the two things, you get the cases in Turkey that are bigger than 0 are this one. It's not enough to say cases bigger than 0 because that will give you a logic, but you can use that logic vector as an index here, and then we combine all this and we make minimum, min. And the minimum is 1 here and here. Okay, I will ask you a little more tricky question. But so far, did you understand here? Here, you see the pattern. The pattern here is that we use a comparison to get a logic vector, and then we use the logic vector as an index. This is the pattern that we are going to use most of time. It's not the only, of course, but this is super typical. The keyword here, the magic word will be a filter. You have a condition that you use that condition to filter all the cases to limit to the cases that you care about. Okay? You can imagine essentially that we only care about the cases, the days that there is positive number of cases. If the name is 0, we probably don't care about them. Or I don't know. Or more exactly, I want to know when was the day with more cases. Okay, this is going to be in several steps, but just remember that we are combining. And we did the same before here. When we choose cases in Turkey, we also had a comparison. We compare the country with the name, and then we use this logic vector from here as an index of another vector, and we assign the result. These 3 steps that we did just before the break. A logic vector that came from a comparison, then using that logic vector as an index, and then assigning the result to a new vector. Okay? Now, what is the last question that we have here? When was the day with largest number of cases? Okay, here we are going to do something a little complicated, but let's go step by step. So how will you approach this question? When was the day with the largest number of cases? First, you have to find the largest number of cases. What was the largest number of cases? Yeah, you are saying no. There are two answers for this. One is to say 5,138, but the other is to say max of cases Turkey. Why I prefer, sorry, max cases Turkey. Why I prefer to say this? Because if I put the formula, then if the data changes later, we are getting data every day, then the formula will adapt automatically. You don't want to put, and this is super important, you don't want to put fixed number in your formulas. You want to put values that depend on the data. Because let's say that tomorrow I ask you to send the same, not for Turkey, but for Chile. The number will be different. Let's say that it will be supernatural to compare what happened in Turkey, what happened in other countries. It's a question that everybody is doing. People are very much discussing what is worse, France, Germany, or England. There's a lot of discussion about that. So what you want to say here, you don't want to put this number. You want to put the formula that gives you this number. Okay? So how we find? We essentially have to find in all this vector which one is equal to 5,138. How we do that?
What do you mean, which one?
Is this one? Is this one? There are many values. One of these is 5,138, but I don't see it very easily. I want to find it. And then I want to see which is the position here.
We can make compare.
Exactly. Exactly. We can compare. We should compare. What do we compare?
Just a minute.
It's a comparison. It's a comparison. You want to see when or which value of cases Turkey is equal to the maximum. I don't know if Recep is sleeping or thinking. He's sleeping in slow motion. I am thinking with my eyes closed, people say. Okay, there is a proposal here, but again, just 2 points here. Everybody see the proposal of Rana? We can take cases in Turkey equal to, first, try to not to copy the angle. Try to not to copy this the prompt is not part of the answer. Okay, so be careful not to copy. You only copy this thing. Yeah, this is that is the approach. You compare cases Turkey with a fixed number, but instead of a fixed number, again I say, don't put numbers, put formulas that give you that number. Okay, because that will work always. Okay, even if the data change, your formula will adapt to new data. You follow me?
Yes.
So you see that they are all false except one that is true. Which is 101. In the day 101.
Yes.
This is 90% of the answer. This is the 90%. The rest is there are a couple of things that we have not talked before, but with this I am kind of happy. Because you get true in one case. So I have two ways to follow here. but let's try to make it more general. First, do you agree that this is, I mean, an answer, maybe not the complete answer, but an answer to the question of when was the day with the largest number of cases?
I think we should incorporate the date reported column into this. Somehow.
That is a very good approach. I agree with that. We to make it more beautiful, we would like to have a vector with the dates. How can we do that?
Yeah,
well, essentially the same as we did here, but instead of taking new cases, we have to take the date. The problem is that in Windows you get a funny name for the first column. So because in my case, when I show, oh my gosh, in my case, why this is here? When I show you here, the first column is called date reported, but you may have a different name. You remember there was a trick with the encoding. So it will not be so easy. But if everything goes right, sorry? Someone asked a question that I didn't got. We can. I'm going to the history. Remember, there is a tab here called history that shows the thing that we did before. We can copy the old formula here. Let's copy this one. And instead of taking new cases, I'm going to take date. In fact, remember, there is a trick here. You write $, and then you get all the options, okay? And you choose the first one, okay? Maybe that will work for you. If you click now, what is this? This is the vector with the date, the first column. And the index is only for Turkey. And the result will be a new vector with the names of the dates. Okay? And we assign this to a new variable called date Turkey. In fact, let's call it no, date Turkey. Okay, why not? So now we got a new vector here. Cases Turkey is a vector of integer. You see here? Date of Turkey is a vector of character or text. Character is the same as text, or string. Sometimes we say string, sometimes we say character, sometimes we say text. They mean the same. So try to make this thing. And write $, and the R Studio should give you the options. And if you have a funny name for the first column, choose that one. Okay? And tell me what happened. If it doesn't work, show me the screen. Yeah, I didn't expect that you will get a funny thinking window. And now, when you get this vector, how we show what was the date, the day, with more cases. You're at the one step to answer the question.
We use the max here again, I guess.
How we use it?
Max parentheses date Turkey parentheses
Okay.
close.
And
you will get the day with the most cases.
Okay, let's go. Cases, Turkey. That is 5,000. What we do with this? What we do now? Ask questions. This is the moment for asking questions.
Shouldn't we write max dates Turkey to get the date?
Because it only will give you what is the biggest date, which is kind of today.
I forgot the question actually. It wasn't the question.
No, the question is,
The day.
when is the day with the largest number of cases? If you say max date, you will get yesterday. The last day is the biggest. If you sort the days, if you sort the day, you sort them chronologically. Therefore, the largest is the last.
Oh.
So
yeah, I get it now.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
This is super important because it's the time. I tell you, the indices is the part that separate people who understand but people who don't understand. This is the most important thing that I will teach you because it was make people think in 3 dimensions. Yeah, that is. Atakan was lazy to write, but the answer is correct. Almost correct. Almost correct. Okay, everybody saw, but let's see here. The reasoning of Atakan is correct, but again, there is an error in the way of doing. Do you see what are the problem here? First problem is that he used a different name. But okay, let's change his names to our names, to the name that I put here.
I named my function like that. Sorry. It's
yeah, you were even if the instructions say use this name. At the end, it's important that you follow the protocol. Like every protocol in the lab, if the instructions say use big letters, you use big letters. Okay. But yeah, okay, I agree that this is not a big problem. What is wrong here? This is almost correct, but there is something wrong.
Brackets.
Can you see it?
Should we use brackets?
Say again?
Brackets. Should I use brackets?
Brackets, exactly.
Indices.
Yeah, so the thing inside will be an index, so you have to use bracket alias square parentheses. You see? 12th of April. You got the sun in the face. This is COVID new cases. Okay. Yeah, this can. Okay. Yeah, the problem with the CAN solution is that you are using the original vectors that are bigger. It also works, but we are trying to use a small vector. The important thing, okay, there are a couple of important things. Let me go. First, when we did this comparison that we did several steps before, we get a logical vector with 311 elements, true or false. In this case, only one was true. Okay? And now we can use that logic vector as an index of another vector. The only important is that the two vectors have the same size, 311. Okay? That is why mixing with the COVID vector, which is much bigger, can be complex. You have to be careful. So the only thing that you should be careful is that the logic vector and the vector that you are using outside have the same length. In general, that will be the case, because if you remember, we said at the beginning that when load data from outside, every vector will have the same size. So normally will be automatic. Zeynep is question mark in the face. Ask questions.
Yes, I have a question. I wrote the Turkey vector in RStudio, but value says the Turkey empty.
You did this command. And here, what do you see here? Do you say the Turkey here?
Empty.
So maybe you have the problem with the name. Would you like to share the screen?
Okay.
And in the meantime, I let the other people with the question, how you find all the days that have more than 4,000 cases?
I cannot start screen because you are
let me
sharing.
stop. Okay, let me. I put somewhere like don't. Okay, maybe I did that. Okay, let me do something. I will stop sharing mine, and there should be a button that says like allow people to share. How is this? Okay. Multiple. Okay.
I wrote this.
Good. I see now. Yeah. There's only one people sharing. Okay. Yeah, I see your point. So yeah, we have here the problem that I didn't expect to happen. That if you see the first column here in the upper window in the COVID block upper left side, the column name is not exactly date reported. There are some funny characters at the beginning. So let's do the following. Yeah, go to the column that says date reported. In that line that you are writing here, there, we are going to delete that part. Delete the part that says date reported. Keep only COVID. Delete. Don't write. Delete until COVID. Delete one more. You have to delete the $sign.
Yes.
Okay, and then there, look, here you have a menu. You have to choose the one at the end. That is the funny text. Let's try now, enter.
Yes,
This is unfortunately, so I don't have a good solution right now because I didn't expect this to happen with the window, but I will check it and next class I will try to solve it. That problem essentially came when we load the data. There is some funny character that in window happened, in my case didn't happen. So I will check it for the next class. Okay, but did you see what was the problem? The problem is that if you say date reported, that name doesn't exist in the original table, in the original data frame. But there is something else, and with the menu you could find it. Fine. Okay. Okay, you have to stop sharing now so I can share mine. Thank you. Okay, so we are finishing here. Yeah, no, we have a couple of interesting things yet, but what is this? Number of cases. So one of the answers here are partial answers, and notice that every time you get something close, but you have to be careful to answer the question that was asked and not something similar. So some cases Turkey, no, the Atacan answer is so no, not even. No, this is not. Okay, let me show you what are the problem with your answer, and then I will give you my answer. Buse give the correct answer. Okay, let's start with that. So, which date have more than 4,000 people? These days. Boom. That is the straight answer. Some cases, this will tell us how many. Okay, that is opening an interesting question. When we do this part, okay, let's open a little parenthesis. When you do a comparison, what we will get? What
Logic.
Logic. And here, what Khan suggested was making a sum of logic, which is interesting because it works. The sum of a logic essentially counts how many true you have. True is 1, false is 0. So the sum of logic give you how many times true. In other words, it's telling you how many days we have more than 4,000 cases, but not telling you which were these days. Buse's answer was better. And in the case of Atacan, it is similar to, but there is an extra step that will make it too funny. What is happening here is this. When you do the first comparison, you get a logical vector. When you do the second one, when you use that logical vector inside of case 30, you will get big numbers. Okay? These are the number of cases. Now, if you use this vector of numbers inside the vector of date, then you will use the number of indices. You are essentially taking an index, you are taking the number 4,117 like an index inside this vector. And this vector doesn't have 4,000 elements. So you are essentially asking something that is outside the vector. So this is the typical kind of problem that people have, that you confuse the value of an element with the position of that element. The location and the content are associated, but they are different. So don't confuse this. This is not what we want. This is how many people were sick in every day. This is how many days we have more than 4,000 people. And this is which were the dates in which we had more than 4,000 people. They are all going around the same idea, but they're different, okay? And the question that we asked, let me show it again. The question that we're asking is, what was the day with the largest number of cases? In this case, my question was, what are the days with what were the days with more than 4,000 cases? Okay. Questions? Okay, so we want to do this in R and in Markdown. So that was a question in the quiz. I'm going to put it here. You remember Markdown, empty line between paragraph, section marking with hashes and space, and list with this, computer code with 3 backticks. And if you want to put R code that will be executed, you have to put 3 backticks and this R. You kind of copy and paste this one. If I write this, then the code will be printed, and then the rest of the code will be printed. Okay? And this is what we want to do for the rest of the class. There is a help here. When you load the slide, well, this was also shown before, but follow these helps. I insist, not every part of the class is in the slides. Some part of the class is on the web in other materials. So what we want to do very quickly is a document which includes all the things that we did in this class. So you want to make a document representing all the things. So let me show you very quickly how to do this. I'm going to start with a new document here, a new R Markdown. I will choose the default. Okay, let's call this class 12. And there is an option called create an empty document. Let me see if it works. I have never tried this before. Okay, it was too empty. Don't worry, because I'm going to give you, but this is a good starting point, an empty document. So I will put 3 lines. I will put title, quotation, class 12 exam, quotation, author, I will put my name, but you put yours. I will ask you when you write your document to add another column here called number, in which you put your student number. Of course, I don't have a student number, but I mean, I had a student number, but it's a different university. And well, date is, we'll put date today. Let's put November, what is today? 11? No, 9? Okay. Now, let's make it quickly. I'm going to go to the Safari and I will copy this text. And here we have to write the code. So I put 3 ticks to start and 3 ticks to end. Okay. Okay, this may be section, for example. So what we need here to produce this code? All the things that we did before. So how will you remember this? You have a history here. And you will go back to the start of the class today and you have in your history. By the way, normally when you finish, when you close R, all the history is saved. So you can even see the thing that you did before. Okay. So this was the first command that I used. I click it here, I put it in color, and I click this button that says to source. Source means this side. So this was the command that gave me the COVID data frame. Then the question that created cases Turkey was this one. We did many experiments. We are free to do a lot of experiments, but the one we want to save the last one, only the last one that is useful for us. Cases in Turkey. And then plot cases Turkey. That should be enough to read. I read the data. I take the Turkey cases. Now, a quick way to test it, if I am not wrong, is to click here. I hope it will work. You click here. Let me show you one more trick here. We have probably an option here. Let me see something. Option. No, here. Chunk. This part here is called chunk. This part of code, they have this English name called chunk. You have some option here that we can check later. But the one that I want to show you is this in the, and you can insert here. Maybe this even is chunk output inline. You saw something funny here, and then you click, and what happened is that the result of this, let me try a second time. Sometimes you need to click 2 times. It's shown here. In the screen that you are writing, you see the result. You follow me? I did this. I'm repeating. Well, you will see the recording anyway, but I wrote 3 ticks. I copy from the history the command that were necessary. And then I click the green arrow that says run current chunk. And to make it nicer, I went to this option and it choose the option that says chunk output inline. Inline essentially means that is shown in the document. What is the smallest number of cases? I mean, I'm putting hash here because I think they will be kind of sections. With more time, we write more. We put an empty line here just in case, and we will insert R chunk. This is easy. We don't need to press the 3 ticks. Insert R. You have other languages, but we are not going to use them. Okay? Fine. Yes, no? Then,
Yes.
yeah? Your question? Do you have a question?
No question.
Okay, what is the smallest number of cases? Was minimum. So here, min case Turkey. To source. I make sure that you put the cursor inside the text, and then we go to the history and we copy here. Testing, 0, perfect. Largest number of cases, enter, insert R, max, source. Smallest positive number of cases, insert R, and we got the one that we liked at the end was this one, to source. You got it here, no? And the day with the largest number of cases, here we had to do more things. So let's insert R. And the steps, the critical step were here, that we get this date Turkey. We created a new vector for this. And then we used the logic vector to check inside that vector. We didn't test this one, but we can test it. And if everything goes right, we can save it. And here again, okay, there is a couple of points here that I want to make sure. Make sure that you save in a place that you know that you will find it later. It can be download, it can be desktop. I prefer to put my result in desktop, but just make sure that you are putting in a place that you will find it later. This is called class 12 or something like that. In general, I don't put spaces in the names, in the file names. You can, but I don't recommend. I save, and then I can process it, knit it. And I got it. Okay? This is how we make a R document. I think they need sunglasses or a hat. I have a hat for. So why I telling you this? Because we have homework. Ta-ta-ta-tan. And this homework is important because it will, this homework will allow you to do it's a rehearsal for the exam. So here, in the, if you are wise, you saw already in our web page, it says homework 2. And I want to spend a couple of minutes showing you how to do the homework. You will do this. You will click. Okay. Depending on your browser, this may be a little different. So you pay attention because it may be different in every case. You click here. And I normally put it in the web here. Let's click. This is a blah, blah, blah. And the real homework is clicking here. As you see, I prepared the homework with R Markdown. So the logic that I do is this. I write the document and I put the commands and I hide the command and I show you the answer. So you will write the R command that will produce this output. Okay? Well, if we have pen and paper, you write it here, but we will write in the document. So essentially, I am telling you, this is the answer. This is the result of the command. Write the command that give this output. Okay? Rana needs coffee. You know, in these days, in the morning, I make a big cup of coffee, and I have coffee all morning. Because after this class, I have another class, you know, I teach all day today. Then indices. Well, this is the question, no? You have the questions. It's more or less the same thing that we did now. It should be. And of course, the most important thing is that you do it on time. Okay? If you make mistake, it's fine because we will give you feedback. This is the time that you make mistakes. Okay, how you answer this? I am giving you a R Markdown file here I don't know if you see in the lower part, it's called answers.rmd. I click it here, and depending on your browser, it will either download directly or show in the screen. Let me cancel a second. Let me see if I can open in a new tab or download linked file or something like that. Download there. Let me see if I can open in a new tab. No, it's download. In my browser, they download automatically. So, but in your browser, it may show in the screen. Let me see if I can show you here. Let me see if I can open directly here from the download. Yeah, I cannot. No, I cannot show you here. But if it's open to in the window in the browser, if it's open in the browser, you will get something like what is this? Ah, no, not what I wanted. 1 second. It was more automatic that I want. Here. Let me open with a text editor to show you what you see. Normally, you will see if you open in the browser, you will see something like this. Maybe without colors, okay? But you will see the text. So all depends on how you, that is why I want you to try this, because there are many problems that can happen depending on the browser, depending on window, depending if you show the extension or not. So if it doesn't download automatically and it's shown in the screen, what you will do is this following. You will, let's close everything here. You will say new Markdown, create an empty document, and you will copy, you will go to the browser, you will copy everything, edit, select all, edit, copy, and then you will go to the text editor and paste. Okay? Any question so far? If everything is automatic, if everything works, in my computer is much easier because it's not window. But essentially what I do is this. I get the RMD file automatically and I double click it and it automatically opens in R. That will be the best. But if it doesn't work like that, if instead of downloading it's just showing in the window, you copy and paste. If it's downloaded, you have to open and see it here. Make sure that the extension is RMD. And you have any problem, tell me, because this is kind of the tricky thing that can happen. Okay. Now, before doing anything, you write your name here. With the proper capitalization. And your student number. This is important because it's how I can find you. Okay? The rest is not necessary to change anything. And here is the part that you write. Okay? You will replace this line. In particular, this hash here, you should delete. You replace this and you write the command to produce this vector. What was the question? Here we can see the question. Oh my gosh. The command to produce this vector. I will give you this one, just to show you an answer. Write the R command to produce the vector 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. I will give you this for free. I will not put this in the video so people don't know. Only for people who pay attention here. This is the question number 2. I will write the solution here. I will say this is a sequence from 0 to 1. No, yeah, to 1. To 1.0 if you like. By 0.1. You can test it here. But if everything is right, you should save it. The name is not very important, but if you want, I recommend you first put in a folder that you will find it later, and second, it is good that the name is meaningful to you. So for example, it can be CMB1 homework 2. Because you will have many files, and today it will be useful. I mean, today you can write anything, but tomorrow you will forget. So better put a name that you will remember. When you see it the next time, you will remember what it is. You save, you process it, and then you send it to me. Now, here is another kind of problem. Let's see if we show how the mail attach work. Mail Google.com. Yeah, this is the my personal email. Just testing, okay. Okay. Okay, it was today message that I sent in the morning, and okay. So if everything goes right, you can compose a message here. Okay, think to be careful. First, what is the address? What is the address that you have to send? Do you know the address? Tell me the address.
Andres.aravena plus CMB.
Plus CMB. That is super
gmail.com.
important. Plus CMB at Istanbul Edu. Okay? Because this address is the one that is automatically processed for all these exams. This is a rehearsal of the exam. The exam will be like this. Okay? This is how we do exams here. You will write an email. Your email will have, here you can put homework 2, maybe your student number. It doesn't matter very much, to be honest. It doesn't matter very much, but it will be nice if you put your student number just don't forget your student number. Then you attach the file. And here is the other point that people make mistake. Remember, you have to remember where you save it. I save it in desktop. And here, if you see, there are several files with the same name. One is called RMD and one is called HTML. You may not see the extension. Remember, that is the problem that Windows hide the extension. That is a bad idea. So make sure that you take the correct one. How can you make the correct one? Well, the correct one is RMD. Maybe it has a different icon. I don't know. Never send me the HTML file. I don't want your HTML file. Okay. Never send me Word. No. Word. A panda dies every time you use Word, remember. Never send Word. Only RMD. These are the files that we handle here. Okay. Now, about the extension, let me just remind you once more something that we did at the beginning of the class. Control Shift. No, here. At the beginning of the class, I told you there is an issue here. There are 2 videos that I send you the link. Check that videos and make sure that you see file extension in Windows. It will be good in general. Remember, you want to control your computer. You don't want the computer to control you. So one part of that is that you see the file extensions. The computer is your horse, and you have to move your horse to go where you want to go, not to go where the horse wants to go. If we were 1 century ago, we will be horse riders. You have to handle your horse. Okay. So to finish the message. So you don't need to write anything here because I will not see it. Okay. Remember, I don't read it. Don't send questions here because I don't read them. This is an automatic system, and you write something and you have to attach it here. Okay, the file should be attached. It should be the RMD. You should see here RMD, and then you send. Okay. If you have questions, forum or email. I don't try to do it in the forum or email to me. Okay. What else? No, that's it. I know. Then there is one more thing. One more thing. Any question?